Well, I'm out here on the water on the mode. I have a bunch of accessories that I've added. I've added a rudder instead of a skeg on this boat, and you can possibly see that I'm controlling how I drift. Normally when you're drifting, the boat has a tendency to go sideways, even with the skeg over time, and it'll require some corrections. But with the rudder on this, which was a piece of cake because it just bolted on, it's working pretty good. This is the skeg that comes with the catch mode when you buy it. You can see that the design is very simple. It's held on with bungees and doesn't require any tools to install it. Just like that. How's that for a simple design? I decided to upgrade this though with a steerable rudder instead of the skeg. It consists of 3 parts: the cradle, the rudder, and the handle, and you can find them on Pelican's website for just under $100. What that does is if you're cruising along with a slight wind or current, you can reach down, hit the tiller handle, and adjust the position of the kayak as you drift along. It's really slick, but today it didn't help me find dinner. The mullet are jumping around here laughing at me. And I can't seem to catch any fish. So I figured I'll take a time out and I'll show you some of the modifications that I've done to this catch mode. There's a track back here that I added. I have a cup holder in it, but I've come to realize I don't really need it. The angle of this cup holder that comes with it actually kind of works okay. How about that? I can actually keep it up off the ground a little bit and it'll stay somewhat dry relative to the drippings and stuff. I guess when you're paddling, water can drip over here, so if you have a beverage in that cup holder, it should stay with a cap on it, you know, so it doesn't get salt water in it, or fish poop, or whatever happens to be floating around in this water. I also added a rod holder extension. This is PVC. I used a bottle to flare that out, heated it up with a torch. That just fits in there, and it makes a super cool, convenient place for a rod. It keeps the reel off of, you know, hitting the kayak. There's less of a chance of you hitting it with your paddle and lifting it up and out of the flush mount rod holder. So that's kind of cool. Alright, well, another thing, this boat is big and it's also wide, and I'm not that big of a guy. My shoulders aren't that wide, just like I'm not that tall. And what I was noticing, I had this boat out yesterday. When I paddled, there are handles here typically, like this one here. This is the handle that was on there. I found that it was sticking up a little bit too high, and as the paddle came across, it was hitting the handle. So I just put some foam padding there to cover up the holes where the handle was. And on this side, I took the track that was on it off. It's probably the track that I used back there. And I took the padding from an old Pelican boat and I covered up all the holes, and that also provides an additional measuring device. Now this paddle, which is also a Pelican paddle, has a measuring device on it. So that's kind of cool. But if I start bringing a motor, I'll for sure have a measuring device with me. So that's something I added. You can see I've got a sheath for pliers. I feel like these should always be right where you can reach them at all times, instead of back here in the crate. And these handles, when I took that handle off, I put these handles on. I was able to remove this part, chop it off, make it shorter, and use these handles from an old Pelican boat. I think you can buy these on Pelican's website. All I did is move them a little bit further back, just forward of the flush mount rod holder there. And it makes it so that I can still use the paddle holder like I've got here for the push-pull. If the bottom was a little softer, I might use it here as an anchor, but right now I got a regular anchor. Over here on this side, I can still lay my paddle across sideways and use that little strap up front, so that doesn't really change. What does change though is that with the pad there, when I set the paddle down, it's nice and quiet. And it doesn't really roll away too much. If I'm in the higher seating position, my legs are even less in the way, and when I set it down, it's nice and quiet and stays put. But yeah, you can see the extra long handles didn't get in the way of using the regular rod holder or rod keeper, paddle keeper. Whatever that doohickey is called. Let's see, what else did I do to this boat? An anchor is always a good thing to add to a kayak. And in my experience, a simple anchor system is usually the best. You can see the anchor is tied to a cleat, and then there's another Scotty mount there for my camera and stuff. I added an anchor trolley. That's a very simple thing, just a couple pad eyes and some rope, and that makes it so that I can look whatever direction I want pretty much while I'm anchored. I don't know, I find this boat to be a lot easier to paddle because maybe I'm a small guy without the handles on the side, so that might be a criticism. I like the cup holder, I like the seat. Of course, being able to flip the seat down and sit on top in a higher position is nice. It's a little easier on the back just to kind of switch it up. And you know, if the conditions are really, really calm, I can stand on this thing and push-pull my way around. Yeah, it's a pretty sweet boat. I thought at first, honestly, that I was beyond hope. I was spoiled from having a foot-powered boat. But today's conditions are less than favorable, and I'm out here and I'm enjoying myself, and I'm not cursing, so that's a good sign. So all in all, my initial impressions of the catch mode are favorable. The padding here, when it gets wet, it might be a little slippery, but that can be corrected easily. And what can't be corrected easily is if the kayak has a lot of stuff in the way. This doesn't make standing really easy. So yeah, like I said, overall, pretty positive experience here on the catch mode. I really love how you can swap out accessories and personalize your boat. If you're a guy that wants to put a motor on your boat, the DIYing is made easy for you. I like it, I like it. So yeah, I'm gonna get back to fishing. Hopefully I catch something, but I don't know, it's starting to get late in the day and that sun is blazing hot, and I've been out in the sun already probably too long. So yeah, the beer's already been cracked too, so gotta head back and get home. Stay tuned, there's some more boats for me to review and more good times to be had. Thanks for watching.